Do pimps get intimate with their 304s? This is a question that has a lot of different answers and an idea that has a lot of different theories, but we going to talk about it. But first, wipe your feet off at the door when you step into a pimp's domain. Let's go.
If you want all this pimping you can't afford, perform like a punk but wanna win his reward. Some suckers give you points but bitch you never scored. If you ain't paying pimping then bitch you getting ignored. Okay, I'm so sick of these.
Well, the short answer to the question is, of course. Yes, pimps have intimacy with their 304s. Now, we can get more detailed on the topic, and we will right now. Now, first of all, what needs to be understood is that a pimp doesn't use intimacy in order to get a woman to surrender or cooperate with his program. And basically, a pimp doesn't use intimacy. He don't use his pipe to get the chick to go. Right, so that's not the determining factor, as you know, that a pimp uses in order to get a chick to be down with him, right? And we don't use it to, we don't allow it to be an overusage thing. We don't overuse the intimacy with the 304, right? It's not something that happens all the time, and it's also not something that happens whenever the 304 wants it. Because 9 times out of 10, if it happens whenever the 304 wants it, it's going to happen multiple times every day, multiple times a day, every day, right? And, you know, the thing about it is, the pimping is not going to be controlled by that. And the pimping is not going to allow the 304 to control him with that, right? But this is the thing, right? Let me debunk a few things here. Now, something that you hear often is that, you know, the pimping can't outdo the trick when it comes to the intimacy, right? You know, we can't never outdo the trick. This is what a lot of people say, and this is what a lot of people subscribe to. But this is the thing, though. Me, myself, no, I'm not even going to try to outdo the quantity of the trick, but I'm definitely going to outdo the quality of the trick, right? I can't outdo his frequency, but the quality of what's being done, oh yes, for sure. And I'm not ashamed to say that. You know, I'm not too pimpish to say that, but yes, the quality of what takes place in the bedroom is going to outdo the trick for sure, right? Because, you know, what a lot of people don't talk about, but is a fact, is that 304s, they don't really enjoy the trick like that. Now, being realistic, you may have some instances where the 304 does enjoy the trick. I mean, this is a woman now. And a lot of 304s will probably tell you that they've never enjoyed the trick. But, you know, I find that hard to believe. Now, majority of the time, I'm pretty sure they don't, right? So, if you just think about it in a realistic sense, a 304 goes to work every day. She's getting intimate with tricks every day. Majority of the time, she's not enjoying these people. And even if she were to enjoy them, she doesn't have that connection with them like she got with the pimping, that personal connection, that game-oriented connection that she got with the pimping, right? So, you know, that's something that she looks forward to, right? She understands that she can't have it whenever she wants it. So, you know, when she does get that, it's a reward. It's a treat. Now, how does that look, or how does that sound for a reward or a treat to be of lesser quality than, you know, the trick, the people that she's servicing that she 9 times out of 10 ain't enjoying when she's servicing them, right? How does it look for the reward to be of less quality than that? Crazy, right? But this the thing though. You have, and this is just being real. It might sound shallow, it might sound vain, it might sound unpimpish, but it's just the truth though. You have some individuals who most 304s will not be physically attracted to, right? But hell of a pimps though. And then you have some individuals that the majority of 304s will be attracted to. Nonetheless, can be a hell of a pimp, right? So whether or not the physical attraction is there, you have gentlemen on both ends of the spectrum who are hell of a pimps, right? Gamed up, can give a chick the game and the guidance that she needs in order to be great in the game, right? But this is the thing though, I can understand a guy who 304s aren't generally attracted to. He's used to 304s not just trying to get in his pants immediately, right? They not hounding him. He ain't got to fight him off with a stick, right? So if that's your reality, then I can understand you not being, intimate as often, right? Or you saying something like, you can't outdo the trick. I can understand that, right? But see, when you're an attractive pimp like myself, I could speak for the attractive pimps because I happen to be one, right? And it's often the case where I'm having to put up a fight, right? So you might have some guys that's like, oh yeah, man, we not doing that, and we not out doing the trick and all this, that, and the third. You probably ain't, but I am though. Again, not with the quantity, but with the quality, right? And like I said, me myself, a lot of times I got to put up a fight. Chicks is trying to go there immediately with me most of the time, right? But within that, there have been some beautiful women that I've had that I never went there with, that I never became intimate with, right? I'm talking about drop dead gorgeous women that you'll look at me crazy like, freeze, how could you not go there with her? She was drop dead gorgeous. I've had pimps tell me this when they realize that I've had certain chicks that, once they gone, once it's over with, and I let it be known that I never went there with the chick, certain pimps done looked at me crazy like, freeze, what's wrong with you? But there's a time and a place for everything, and in those instances, it just so happens that the time and the place didn't come to pass before the chick ended up blowing, or before she got fired, one or the other, right? But that's because I made a conscious effort for it to not go there. It's not for lack of effort on the chick's part, the reason why I didn't go there, right? The effort was definitely applied. It's just that the pimping was putting up a good fight, right? And it is a fight, trust me, right? But you have some cats that don't really have to fight. You know what I mean? It's some individuals, they not really putting up the fight. So when those type of guys say, oh yeah, man, every chick ain't to be touched, or I haven't touched every 304 that came through the door, yeah, that in that case is for a lack of effort, right? So it's not really hard to do, right? When a chick ain't fighting you for it every day, it's understandable. But I have to let this be known, because you got people that they don't have to put up a fight, and they leave that part out, right? And I can understand, because you don't know that from experience. You've never had to fight 304s off that's steadily trying to get in the bed with you all the time, right? So if you don't have to put up a fight, then that's cool. But, you know, for those of us that got to put up a fight, you know, I say that that's more commendable. You dig? And see, this is the thing, what I want you to understand too, right? The fight part doesn't always have to do with the looks, right? Because some chicks are just attracted to individuals based on their personality, based on their conversation, you know, based on their charisma, you know, the way that they carry themselves, the way that they, you know, deal with a woman. It'll make a woman want to go there with them, right? And that's not always an aesthetic thing where, you know, she's just physically so attracted to him. No, it's the pimping within him that makes her so attracted to him, right? But then you have guys again who might be hell of a pimps, but they just don't have that, you know, thing that makes a woman want to jump their bones all the time, right? But it don't take away from their pimping. But, you know, for those of us who do have to put up a fight, you know, you gotta credit that. You gotta give the pimping credit for that, right? And you can't put that type of pimp, is just as in this aspect, right? You can't compare that type of pimp to the type who don't have to put up a fight, right? And the one who don't have to put up a fight, he can't like try to talk down on the pimping who does have to put up a fight. You know, like don't do that. You know, because I've had guys try to do that with me. You know, try to make it like, you know, they doing the same thing that I'm doing, but it's like, no, you don't have to fight. You don't have to put up that fight, right? So, you know, I just want that to be understood. But, you know, again, you know, I just think it's more commendable when, okay, you the type of pimp, right, that you have to put up a fight. And, you know, basically chicks is throwing it at you. But even though they're throwing it at you, not only are you resisting it, but you're not using it to control the chick. You're not using it to get the chick down with you, right? Hey man, that's some major pimping going on right there. You dig? For real though. You know, a lot of people, and then, you know, it's a stigma in the game, even though a lot of people probably don't want to talk about it, but it's the truth though. It's a stigma in the game. You know, when you look a certain way, you know, other pimps and just people in the game automatically assume that that's the reason why you might have success in the game, or that's the reason why your catch hand is the way it is, or, you know, that's the reason why, you know, chicks be down with you and all this, you know, all that type of stuff. Nah. How about I just got some game? How about it's just, you know, the ism is just in me? How about I was just meant to do this shit? Well, how come it can't be that? Why I gotta be my looks? You know, because the things that I've done, looks alone won't accomplish that, right? But again, back to the question of, you know, do P's get intimate with 304's? Of course, but it's not the basis of the connection between us, right? That's not what brings us together. That's not the determining factor. It's not a deal breaker. It's not any of that, right? It's just an additive. It's a bonus, right? We treat ourselves to that every so often, but it's not something that, you know, if it doesn't happen, you know, it's a deal breaker. Like I said, I've had, and that's what I didn't mention. The chicks that I've had that I never touched, that I never went there with, oh man, that don't mean I didn't check it. That don't mean that I didn't do my thing with the P, you know, the capital P, not the lowercase p, not the little p, the big P. You dig? The pimping. That don't mean that I didn't do my thing with that. Yeah, checked it though, without touching her. Checked it. I might not have went hard in her, but I went hard on her. And I might not have touched the inside of her body, but I definitely touched the inside of her purse. You dig? So yeah, man, you know, I just had to touch on that, you know, and, you know, separate game from lane and give some clarity and show charity, as my brother Sinful to P would say, because, you know, you just have individuals out there that might send mixed signals about this game, man. And you know, the idea of, oh, you know, the pimp can't outdo the trick, and you know, we not just touching every chick and all that type of stuff. And you know, I done had people that, you know, I just had to give clarity, man, because again, it's people that be sending the wrong message about this game out there, and hopefully that give a little bit of clarity to y'all. You dig? But let that marinate on your mind one time, freezes it. Go ahead, put some of this good old love in your body like so. And of course, as always, long live the incomparable Sinful to P. We out. Dig this.
Yeah.
I been stroking relentless to get waves like this. I spoke into existence for her to pay like this. In the trenches on a day like this, traffic consistent, and so I have to insist that she relay my chips. It's a trap with her name on it and my game on it. Any forces coming against this game, shame on it. Standing on my pimpin' from day one and remain on it. It carried me through every terrain and I gained on it. Experience joy and pain on it, sustained on it.
But getting back to this game that I never left.
Baby, I would